being the president. Remember this. It's a very simple thing to remember. Whatever you try to do in life, remember, what are you really looking for? Well, happiness, aren't you? If happiness is what you're really looking for, then why not look for that first? I read some book, I didn't read the book, I was told about it, that was enough for me. But this man was giving advice on how to be a good manager. He said, slam the door occasionally, shout occasionally, slam your book on the floor, on the desk. I thought, what a childish, irresponsible, uncontrolled. I've started 8 communities in this world. I say this world because one is in Italy, 2 are in India, several are in America. I'm trying to start one in Los Angeles. I think that these are a wonderful alternative for the rat race that we get involved in. And I started the first one 43 years ago. So I can say that we've proved ourselves. But in these communities, you find that people don't have that kind of one-upmanship. I never will make a person a leader if he wants to be a leader. I'll never put him in a position of teaching others if he wants to teach others. I don't mean that I drag them kicking and screaming up on the podium to talk. That's not my meaning. But people who want to blast, no, I don't want them. But I found that this community is a place where everybody supports everybody else, where you never find arguments, where you find harmony and support, and above all, happiness. Well, anything that you're doing, ask yourself, okay, is it really true that I want to get to the top, or am I looking for happiness? Always remember, happiness should be your priority in life. You should look for happiness in anything that you do before the thing itself. Now, I don't know how much time I have, but I know I'm supposed to give you time to ask questions. So let's try that first. I'll give you time to ask first.
You have till 9:30, Swamiji.
What?
9:30.
And it's 9:35.
8:30.
Oh, I have till 9:30?
I think so.
Yes. Yes.
Oh. Well, all right. So let me ask you some questions. No. When I met Yogananda, it was, I had never in my life met somebody so absolutely wise, and yet I would look into his eyes, and there was no thought, I am wise. There was no thought, I. Being near him, you know, people emanate an aura. His aura was intense, and I could feel so much love and so much bliss emanating from him. I used to be very short-sighted before I got laser surgery, and I couldn't see anybody's expression from here to there. And I left the room one time and looked back to say goodbye. He looked at me, I felt these waves of love. It just brought tears to my eyes. Isn't that what life is really all about? What is the point of living, sweating, paying your taxes, getting everything? Finally, you reach old age. I mean, I think at the age of 85, I'm doing relatively well. And usually people are sort of wrecks. I was amazed the other day. It was on Christmas. My voice suddenly became deep. I mean, it's not decent. People who are old are supposed to have creaky voices. And instead, I hit one note below the lowest note on the piano. Now, I don't know how, but I did. And my voice is also resonant. So I think it's never been so good in my life. How come? And I feel so blissful all the time. Because I don't feel that I exist. It's an absolutely wonderful experience. Of course I exist enough to get the fork into my mouth. But what I mean by that is I just don't matter. If you want to insult me, fine. If you want to shoot me, fine. Really. Because there's only one thing that really matters, is bliss. You know when you die, and that's the one thing I can promise you. You will die. Don't be afraid of it. Most people are afraid of death. You can't lose consciousness. All you do is lose your overcoat. Yes, you lose your body. But yourself, you don't lose that self. When you go beyond this world, you find a much better world. Well, the truth of it is this. Whatever emotions you have when you shed the frame of the body, when you shed the frame of the body, then those emotions become stronger. So if you were filled with hatred and anger and those things, then those will be much stronger in that stage than here. But most people are fairly decent people. Basically, I think everybody, not just the people in this room, who obviously wouldn't be at this talk if they weren't seeking something better, but even those people who are trying to find revenge and everything. Basically, everybody is good. Everybody is God. I told you, I began to talk to you about Buddha because he talked about doing it all yourself, doing the effort yourself. His followers began to think he was an atheist. He was no atheist, he was a master. But then, because atheism was spreading through India, then Shankaracharya was born. God always answers according to the needs of mankind. People always argue that our guru is right because he says so and so. They're all the same. They're all the same. But they are teaching according to the needs of the times. And so Shankaracharya said, no, there is a God. But it's true, he's not Vishnu and Shiva and Parvati and Saraswati and all those gods. He is that infinite bliss, and he gave this definition, Satchidananda, which normally in books you will find translated without any color at all, saying that existence, consciousness, bliss. What does that mean? But Yogananda translated it, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. And that expression, ever new, was one he added. And how absolutely beautiful that ever new is. What it means. As Yogananda said, when you attain that bliss, it's always changing, it's always new. And every human being who finds that bliss will find the same bliss, but in his particular way. It's absolutely thrilling to realize that each one of us is finding a different path to that one bliss. I can't tell you how that thrilling. That every moment of that bliss, when you find it, will be thrilling and beautiful and different. Constantly new, constantly fresh. Well, the goal of life is that you were born. Why don't you come in and sit down? He's no friend of mine, so I can tell him this. The Shankaracharya, however, every one of them is devotional. But he didn't sound devotional because he said, like our first song this evening, life is a dream. He said, this is all God's dream. And in fact, I have started a new renunciate order to which everybody is invited. They don't have to be members of Ananda or disciples of Yogananda or anything. But if they feel that they want God first in their lives, then we invite you to join us. The purpose of this particular approach is that in the days of Shankaracharya, it was very difficult to say that the ego is non-existent. He lived in a darker age, and the ego was, you couldn't prove that it was not. Now, we know that matter is energy. We know that matter doesn't exist except as energy. And so we've come to realize that also the ego, it's possible at least to see it just as a wave on the bosom of the ocean. Now that is the purpose of life, and is what Shankaracharya wanted to teach when he founded the Swami order, or I should say reorganized the Swami order. I've created this new order that will teach that does teach people to embrace joy, and that the purpose of renunciation in everything is get rid of the ego. So there are many techniques that you can follow to get rid of the ego. You can, anytime, as I said before, if somebody insults you, thank you. Say thank you. If somebody does something that you don't want, say in your mind, let it be. I've made it a practice for years, mentally at night, to create a bonfire. And into that bonfire I throw every attachment, every desire, and then I feel completely free. You won't feel free if you get what you want. You'll be free if you give up what you want. Real freedom comes from non-attachment to the world. So when you go into your inner self, try bringing the energy up the spine. This is, in fact, you've all probably heard the word Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is the yoga taught by Yogananda and by Moshe originally in Benares. This Kriya Yoga basically brings the energy into the spine, brings it up the spine so that you can focus it here at the point between the eyebrows. Feel superconscious there. The more you can put your mind here. For example, many years ago, the owner of East West Bookstore in Menlo Park asked me if I wanted to buy her store. She said, I'm becoming old now and I'd like to retire, and you're someone to whom I would like to sell this. She knew I was a part of Ananda community. I didn't know. I wasn't going to leave it on a level of opinion, but I put my mind here at the point between the eyebrows very strongly. I said, what shall I do? And I felt, yes, here's the trick. Your broadcasting station is here. Your receiving station is in the heart. And by sending out that thought, I felt in the heart, and the heart said, yes, do. So I said, all right, yes, we will. In 1 second. Well, maybe not. And we didn't have any money. It's not as if I had a huge bank account, therefore I was plenitude. I was offering that money. But I felt it was right. And a few days later, somebody who didn't know about my agreement sent us $37,000. Somebody else gave us $10,000. We needed $45,000 to put down on the down payment for this store, and it came. But again and again in my life, I have seen this kind of thing